Welcome to the Construction Career Collaborative informational video. In this video, you will gain insight into what C3 is, along with gaining an understanding of the difference between an accredited employer and a project participant. Additionally, we will outline the C3 accreditation requirements for both the accredited employer and project participant. We will discuss the C3 accreditation process to approval, as well as introduce you to the C3 Craft Training Endorsement Program. At the end of this video, you will be prompted to complete the video survey on our website. It is important that you complete the survey prior to submitting your application. If the survey is not completed and submitted, your application will not be approved. Why C3? Here's John Roberts, a managing director at Jones Lang LaSalle, to share with us why C3 is important to the industry.
Everyone talks about the shortage in our industry of skilled labor, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot being done about it. C3, on the other hand, is doing something about it by incentivizing the worker to want to stay in our industry.
So what exactly is C3? C3 is a nonprofit, labor-neutral collaboration of building owners, contractors, specialty contractors, design professionals, and construction industry trade associations that seek to reestablish a career in the craft trades as a desirable way to make a living while creating a safe, skilled, and sustainable craft workforce. C3 focuses on competitive workforce practices that include hourly pay, safety training, and skills training linked to a career path. These practices are crucial in order to attract the interest of those considering their choice of careers. C3's strategy to achieve its mission is owner-driven, meaning that those entities that hire construction companies to build their structures include language in their construction contracts specifying that all craft workers are hourly employees eligible to earn overtime pay, receive a Form W-2 at the conclusion of the tax year, are protected by workers' compensation insurance in the event of an injury on the job, and have an OSHA 10 safety credential. Field supervisors should have an OSHA 30 safety credential. So who should seek C3 accreditation? While we are a collaboration of all industry participants, we focus on the employment practices of participating construction companies. This is accomplished with an accreditation process that is required of all construction companies that either employ craft workers, supply craft workers on a project, such as a staffing agency or PEO, or suppliers that hire sub-tier companies who employ craft labor to install their products. However, ancillary service providers, such as those listed in the green box, are not required to have C3 accreditation. There are subtle but important differences between the requirements of the accredited employer and those of the project participant. An accredited employer agrees to fulfill the checklist of assurances for its entire craft workforce, both craft workers and field supervisors. Project participants agree to fulfill the assurances for only those craft workers and field supervisors providing labor on a specific C3 project. Accredited employers are eligible to receive unlimited free consultation services from C3's workforce development professionals to assist in the development of a skills training program linked to a construction career path for their craft workforce. This enables them to pursue and earn a valuable C3 craft training endorsement. More importantly, this consulting can be a critical step in assisting a construction company to develop its own skilled and sustainable craft workforce, thereby providing it with a competitive advantage when competing for construction projects. Project participants are eligible to receive one free one-hour session with access to subsequent consulting at an hourly rate of $150 per hour. C3 requires accredited employers and project participants to pay craft workers as hourly employees, not as independent subcontractors. In other words, craft workers must receive an IRS Form W-2 at the end of the tax year and not a Form 1099. This means that traditional federal and state employment taxes are deducted and matched, and overtime earnings are paid according to federal law. In addition, all craft workers must be protected by workers' compensation insurance in the event of an on-the-job injury. Your company will need to provide a certificate of insurance illustrating that it provides this coverage. C3 requires that all craft workers assigned to a C3 project have an OSHA 10 credential, and all field supervisors have an OSHA 30 credential prior to arrival on the job site of a C3 project. Once your company's application is approved, you will receive an email invitation to enroll your company and its craft workers in the C3 training database. The C3 training database houses the safety credentials of craft workers and tracks who is working on a C3 project, while providing C3 and the general contractor the ability to ensure that all craft workers on the job site have the appropriate safety credentials. C3 recognizes the importance of having a skilled craft workforce. That's why we've created the Craft Training Endorsement Program. Before we discuss the program, let's hear from John Roberts, Managing Director at JLL, and Epifanio Arroyo from Merrick, as they share why it is important to invest in training your craft workforce.
A trained worker has a higher percentage of retention in their firm. Their apprentice program in 2017 enjoyed a 90% retention rate compared to a 72% retention rate over their firm across the whole. And in 2016, they noted there was an improved percentage of supervisors who were trained that stayed in the firm. What this tells the industry is that a trained worker is a happy worker. They're also a safe worker.
Craft training has helped me beyond work by having family and friends in the same industry as me, and has given me the opportunity to teach them and learn from them. My favorite part about craft training was the opportunity to be a coach and to train on the job, train others from what I learned.
As an accredited employer, you are eligible to take advantage of the C3 Craft Training Endorsement Program. This program is a great way to showcase the investment that you are making in your craft workforce. There are 3 levels of the Craft Training Endorsement Program: Recognized, Leader, and Champion. If you do not currently have a documented training program, you will select Pre-Program. When applying for the C3 Craft Training Endorsement Program, it is important that your company identifies itself at its current level of craft training. The pre-program level signifies that you currently have no documented craft training program. When you self-identify as a pre-program employer, you will have 12 months to work with the C3 People Development Team to develop your program. If your company is currently offering some craft training for your craft workforce, and you can provide documentation of that training, as well as how you are tracking it, you should select the recognized level. If your company is offering a structured craft training program linked to a construction career path and tracking it, you should select the leader level. If your company is fulfilling the previously mentioned criteria, plus 2 of the 3 options listed on the form adjacent to champion level, you should select champion. To learn more about how to build a dynamic craft training program to suit your organization, please contact a C3 People Development team member today. Now that you are ready to participate with C3, you will need to complete the following steps. In a moment, you will be asked to complete a survey, confirming that you understand the basic requirements for participating with C3. After submitting your survey, you may submit your application with supporting documentation. We will then review your application and make an approval decision within 2 to 3 business days, provided that all application requirements have been met. Upon approval, you will receive a welcome email from C3. Once you have been notified of your application's approval via email, please expect to receive an additional email that invites your company to enroll in the C3 training database. You will be asked to enter the first name, last name, and the date of birth for each of your craft workers and field supervisors. Also, you will need to upload the appropriate OSHA training credentials of each worker. You will then be able to assign your craft workers to a C3 project via the training database once you receive an invitation from the project's general contractor. Lastly, you will hear from one of our people development team members to help enroll you in our craft training endorsement program.
It's a win-win for everybody. When you develop your craft workforce, everybody wins. The workers win, the companies win, and obviously the owners win because they get a better workforce, they get a better product, better schedules, better budgets. Everybody wins when you develop your craft workforce.
Become a part of the solution. You will now need to go to the link to complete the survey and begin the application process. Your survey code is displayed on the screen.